Well, so now I have to segue into private citizen and not represent United Global Outreach as the
Okay.
CEO and say that, um, I'm considering, I came out as a private citizen to figure out how to solve a problem in a community in the
Ah,
county that I grew up in.
yeah.
And we have put together a plan. It's gotten a measure of success. But I finally, I think, recognized that we just can't move forward in the foundational elements, which is clean water, affordable housing, addressing the homeless issue, without our county commissioner's support. So, say unless he has a road to Damascus conversion experience in the next little while, we're going to have to figure out how to replace him because he just has become a roadblock to this community's
To doing the
population, to
right
this
thing.
health. He's a barrier to doing the right thing. He does not do the right thing.
What
And
is
he's been the commissioner for 13 of the last 19 years, so he owns the issues of Bithlo.
right for the historical
Yeah,
ones?
I mean, he's been the representative.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you said before. We have to be the change we want to see. And sometimes part of that is getting the right people in office.
Well, it's absolutely achieving the mission. We all talk about we want to improve the lives of others. We need to get beyond the annual volunteer day
Yeah.
and the t-shirts and the group photo and the feeling good and get down to what it takes to bring about transformation.
Well, what would you advise us? I mean, there's lots of people that want to make change, and there's social change makers, and there's what do you feel like are the things that we have to do differently as community members and as change makers? What is not working about the way we're trying to solve social problems?
Well, we're treating the symptoms of poverty more than we're working on the solutions of poverty. And then in the case of nonprofit leaders and elected officials, we're working on our career path more than we are solving the problem. Somebody asked me a couple of years ago, what's the next thing for you career path wise? I go, I didn't get in the nonprofit world as a career path. It was the vehicle to see this community transform. So we really have to be willing to sacrifice. We have to be more mission focused than we are profession focused, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, I've been frustrated with nonprofit leaders that I see that can't even relate or don't even know the name of the people they're there to help because those businesses have become beasts.
Please. Well, you talk a lot about coming in and transforming things by overdeveloping, but you also talk about the challenges of us coordinating and working together. In terms of homelessness here in Orlando, are people starting to work together?
Yeah, collaboration is the key. And even in the Bithlo community, homelessness is a huge problem. In fact, the Commission on Homelessness identified East Orange County, namely Bithlo, being the epicenter of chronic homelessness. So, in order to solve that problem, the resources aren't with the homeless person who happens to probably be mentally ill
Right.
or physically disabled. This is a population that really can't help themselves. And so, we as a society have to figure out how can we do the morally right thing and also the financially smart thing by resolving homelessness, not just treating its symptoms.
Is that, I mean, we look around the nation, right? Seattle, LA, Portland, the state of Hawaii, they've all had claimed major states of emergency in terms of homelessness. Is this the reason that we've all been looking at the symptoms?
Yeah, I mean, we have a tendency to think, I mean, we're not getting too cold here in Orlando in November, but in other parts of the country, and we will have our cold days. We immediately, I mean, if I said, hey, we need blankets, people would flood us with blankets, tents, soup,
The
free
real
meals,
solution is,
housing. We know that. So that's why in the Bithlo transformation effort, housing is one of our main areas of focus because everybody needs safe, affordable housing. But the homeless need to be housed so they can get over some of the trauma and start working on the real reason they're homeless to begin with, which in the case of chronic homelessness is mental illness and physical disability.
so there's two types of homelessness, right? Chronic and then temporary, or is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
episodic homeless, where you lost your job, you had a family emergency, you broke a bone, and all of a sudden you were homeless for a period of time.
And the long-term solution for that is more affordable housing?
Well, all of it. I mean, right now we have employees at Disney World and Universal packing hotels in Osceola County because they can't afford housing. So again, I'm not proposing more government intervention, but I think as a broader society we can put together real plans to solve these issues and affordable housing is a key one.
You were working on, is it Dignity Village?
Yeah, so-
And what is the real solution to affordable housing? Because is it that it hasn't been profitable to build? Is that why we don't see it?
I think there's a variety of things. I think in general, we just tend to look toward a government program to solve a societal issue.
Instead of coming with private
Innovation.
kind of
Instead of
public-
letting innovation take charge and then also building a case for solving the problem. I think that's why so many organizations have rallied around the Bithlo transformation effort, because they've grown weary of just passing out free groceries generation after generation.
Right.
So innovation has kicked in, or from my background, an entrepreneurial approach
Right.
to solving these issues. So as it relates to housing, we're going to do small homes, because for less than 30,000, we can build a real house for a family or a chronic homeless person or anyone else needing affordable housing, but we can do it in a very first class way. So it can be to scale that makes it affordable, but yet it's very first class.